So obviously we know how hard the team worked last week. Just how's everybody feeling this week? How's it been this week?
They've been alright actually, not been too bad. As the group, they reported back in for training. As you can imagine, they were, the training ground's been good this week with a buzz around it. But I also think that it's really important that whilst in football is tough because the highs are so high and the lows are so low, I think part of my role this week, along with the coaches, is to keep the players grounded and understand that everything that we've achieved in the last 4, 5, 6 games has been down to hard work. So nothing's changed really. Yes, we are in a good spot at the moment, but other than that, it was only 3 points that we won on Saturday. So that's my message. That's been my consistent message with the players this week, and it will continue that way because I do sound like a broken record, but we've got another massive game on Saturday. So really difficult, but obviously it's positive for us to be going into it off of some really good performances, but more importantly, really good results.
Good to see Taylor Perry and Morgan Feeney back. How are they finding it this week after coming back from injury?
Yeah, Taylor's trained every day, which has been great. We had a bit of we've had a tough week in terms of the weather and finding surfaces to train on. Today was the first day we've managed to get onto the training ground here just because of the amount of rain that we've had here. But we've been up to the stadium and used the 4G there, so it's been fine. All the players have come through the training sessions with no issues. TP, it was great for him to get his goal, but now the challenge is, and it was at the beginning of the season when I spoke to him, it's about numbers, whether that be assists or goals. So, he's in a positive spot at the moment. Morgan, great to have him back in the group because you see the solidity that he gives us with the last 10-15 minutes when we put him on. Morgan's desperate to be involved, desperate to be, in the starting lineup, and that's fantastic from my point of view. So good to have them back. Obviously, I'd love to be stood here talking to you saying that we've got another 2 or 3 coming back imminently. That isn't the case. However, the one thing that this group of players can do and will do is work hard for each other. So I'm excited for the weekend.
You spoke a little bit about Jason Swaha last week. How is he? Because I know you were and ahhing if he was going to see a specialist or not. So how's he?
Yeah, we've hopefully turned a corner with Jason. He's back on the grass. He reached, I think it was 90% of his max sprint speed yesterday. So he's been topped up again today on the grass. While I'm hopeful that it will be soon, we've got to be cautious with him. It's a difficult injury that he had with his ankle, similar to Brandon Fleming, if I'm perfectly honest. And Brandon isn't back in terms of available back in the squad yet, so it's going to take its time. But I tell you what's really positive is to see them both back on the grass, both back with the boots on and out of the gym, because our gym's a bit too full at the moment with players that aren't fit.
Word for Shea Dunkley got out, and Aaron Pierre, they were so solid last weekend. Just how much, work do they put in to the training ground that we don't see, that goes into performances like Saturday?
We'll put it this way, they're the last 2 in the gym, let me tell you that. So I've just walked in there and both of them are in there. And you need professional players at your football club. You need leaders who do things correctly, and we've got that here with Shea and the other seniors. Aaron had to wait, had to take his time at getting into the team. But one thing you can't question from any of our players, I don't think, and you single those 2 out, is commitment. That those 2 love defending. From my point of view, it's unbelievable to have players with that mentality in and around the group. So, no, both of them got to be ready for a battle on Saturday against Portsmouth, because that's what it will be. They're top of the league, they're a really good team, but they're a really good team because they do the basics well. So it's going to be a really tough game for us, but I think are in a decent vein of form ourselves. We're back at home for the first time in a few weeks, which is positive because we have obviously been on our travels recently. So no, I'm very much looking forward to Saturday at 3:00.
Yeah, does that confidence come as well being at home? 6 wins you've had at home in the league. Does that just add another layer of confidence that maybe you don't think about subconsciously, but just being at home, having that feeling?
I think what it does more than anything is you're at home in front of your own supporters, who, by the way, have been excellent this year. And look, they're no doubt going to come out in their numbers. Knowing the Portsmouth supporters like I do, there'll be a few of them as well. And my challenge to our supporters is just to continue backing the players the way they have done. And hopefully as many of them as possible come down and support us, because the players need it, the players want it, and I want it, and I need it. There's nothing more than when you're, coming to the latter stage of the game for the supporters to get you over the line, and that's what they need to be. I know it's an old adage, but they do need to be our 12th man. So yeah, pleased to be back at home. I think that, as you say, our home record in the league, I think, is up there in the top 5. So that's a real positive, and that feeds into the narrative of it's another game in which we are playing against an excellent opposition. However, we should be full of confidence going into it.
Coming up against your former club as well. I think we're having a look at the goal against Everton that people will know. I think that was actually 17 years ago to the day, a couple of days ago. So, great memories that you've got there. Obviously, they're top of the table and flying at the top. So, just your thoughts going into that one and against your club.
Look, for me, I spent 6.5 wonderful years down there at a time when the club went through probably its richest vein of form in recent history. So to be part of that was obviously wonderful for me. It was a big part of my footballing journey. I went to watch them on Monday night against Bolton. What I will say is what a spectacle for League One, more than anything. Before we touch on the opposition, I felt the game was an unbelievable affair, and Portsmouth came out on top. So we know just how difficult that game will be. They are very structured. They've got a very good young manager in charge there who has a clear identity of the way he wants to play. Each and every one of their players knows exactly what their roles and responsibilities are. So I'm expecting it to be a difficult game. But we're at home, in front of our fans, and you quite rightly pointed out earlier that our home form's really good. So it's going to be a tough game for them. It'll be an afternoon at which we need to take our opportunities when we create them, because we know what strengths Portsmouth hold, and we also know maybe some areas in which we can try and exploit. But first and foremost, the one thing that I will be asking my players for is the same I'm asking for every week, and that's 100% effort. Because that's one thing that I think we are really doing well at the moment. We are doing it for each other, and it's massively powerful. So, yeah, it'll be nice to see some people that I haven't seen in a long time at Portsmouth. But that's in the past, and what we do now is we look forward to the future. And the most important thing, an impending thing, is this game on Saturday, which, look, we want to try and win.